Hey everybody, Justin Watches Movies here. Today we're going to talk about Glass, starring James McAvoy, Samuel L. Jackson, and Bruce Willis. This is the latest film that is directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and I've been binging his movies. And I saw Unbreakable for the first time the other day. It is a terrific film. Split is really great, so I was really excited to see Glass. It wasn't my most anticipated movie of the year, but it was one I was really looking forward to. And this is about David Dunn from Unbreakable as he tries to hunt down Kevin Wendell Crumb, the guy from Split with all the different personalities. And also, Mr. Glass is thrown in here as well. So we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and at the end I'm going to give you the score for the film. Also, leave your comment down below with your thoughts on the movie and subscribe to my channel for more up-and-coming videos. When I left Glass, I couldn't help but feel slightly disappointed, and that has a lot to do with the end of the film. We're going to talk more about that later, but there are some really positives in this movie throughout that I was on board with really early on. They did a great job of showing us what David Dunn and Kevin Wendell Crumb have been up to throughout the years, and I think they did a great job of recapturing the characteristics, the abilities from those characters, because Unbreakable is kind of like almost like a sad movie, and we get to see what he's been doing since then. He has a partner, not going to spoil it for anybody, but he goes by the name the Overseer, and so he kind of just protects the city, and he hears of Kevin Wendell Crumb and he wants to go find him because he has some girls that he has captured. You see in the trailer, they got some cheerleaders, so he goes to try to find him, and then eventually they get captured and put into a ward where they are evaluated by Sarah Paulson's character, and she tries to convince them that they don't have superpowers. I really like the interactions between Bruce Willis and James McAvoy. They're really good actors and their performances are really good in here, but I wanted to see more of that storyline because it kind of pitted two characters together that were equal in strength, and I wanted to see who would come out on top. I really like the characters from both of the movies, and they really do shine in this movie as well. James McAvoy is so good in this movie. I love seeing those different personalities, and he's able to just change them on call because he's in this room where the lights are flashing at him, and every time they flash at him, his personalities change. So we get Patricia and Kevin again, and Hedwig, and all these different kinds of personalities. I think we get a little more than we did in Split, and they're all just really handled so well. James McAvoy is a good actor at every single one. I could just sit and watch the different personalities all day. And Bruce Willis, once again, is so good in this movie. He's very calm and collected in Unbreakable, and in the same thing in here as well. Now, Mr. Glass, Samuel L. Jackson's character. This movie is called Glass, so you expect this whole movie to be about him. I feel like there's not a lot of him, and like in Unbreakable, he's kind of in the background working his magic, and he does that a little bit in this movie, but I feel like I don't get to see much of Mr. Glass in this movie. If you look at the runtime for each character in the screen time, James McAvoy would probably be at the top. And that's not particularly a bad thing because I really do like the character, but when it comes down to wanting to see Mr. Glass, because Bruce Willis got his movie in Unbreakable, James McAvoy got his movie in Split, you expect a lot of Samuel L. Jackson's character in Glass, and I feel like we just did not get that with this movie. But his scenes were really good. He's still a really creepy character, and I love seeing him in this movie. And surprisingly, he works really well with the Beast. And so you've seen the trailers that they wanted to team up as villains. I thought it was really cool that they were kind of like working together. I thought they were a nice pair. Like I said, this movie was a little bit disappointing because of the ending, and it's hard to sit here and talk to you guys without spoiling the ending. I feel like that's a lot of people's YouTube videos, that the ending is the bad part and you don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there were some issues with the ending and the route they took for the characters. Relationships that kind of just blossomed throughout the movie kind of just didn't really seem reasonable in this movie, and it did leave it up for a sequel or a prequel, whatever you wanted to do with it, but I just felt disappointed with the ending and what had happened to the characters. I just felt disappointed, and I felt like I was wanting more, very anticlimactic, because there's a big arc with Kevin Wendell Crumb and David Dunn, and you want to see that kind of play out at the end of the movie because that's how the movie is set up, and you just felt like you didn't get what you deserved from the beginning of the movie. It was very anticlimactic, and I wanted to just sit here and tell you everything about it. I want to just spoil it all for you guys, but I can't. I don't want to do that. But if you saw the movie or you're going to see the movie, you might feel like a slight disappointment when it comes to this movie because of what had happened at the end of the movie. But there's still a lot of good things to love about this movie. So before I give you my score and the final thoughts of this movie, make sure to check out my 2019 playlist right above. You got some movie reviews that I've done already that are found on that playlist. So overall, Glass, there's some really good things to love about this movie. The characters are still handled really well. They spend a lot of time trying to convince us that they don't have superpowers, and that became a little bit repetitive towards the middle part of the movie, and then you start the question, do they really have superpowers? I don't know. But it led to a very anticlimactic, very confusing, very disappointing ending, and kind of just leaves a sour taste in your mouth. It makes you forget about all the good things you saw because you saw a lot of bad things. But I'm gonna go ahead and give Glass a C. Thank you guys for checking out my review for Glass. You can check out my most recent video right over here. Man, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more up and coming videos. I'm gonna be ranking all of the M. Night Shyamalan twists and all of his movies as well. M. Night Shyamalan weekend for you guys. My name is JustinWatchesMovies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.